the world wonder, the strange places abandoned and haunted. The capital of the Nabatean Kingdom. Accessed via a narrow canyon called Alsik, it contains tombs and temples carved into pink sandstone cliffs, earning its nickname, the Rose City. Perhaps its most famous structure is Al-Kaznet, a temple with an ornate, Greek-style facade. Inhabited since prehistoric times, this Nabatean caravan city, situated between the Red Sea and the Dead Sea, was an important crossroads between Arabia, Egypt, and Syria. Phoenicia. Petra is half-built, half-carved into the rock, and is surrounded by mountains riddled with passages and gorges. It is one of the world's most famous archaeological sites, where ancient Eastern traditions blend with Hellenistic architecture. Sarajevo Olympic bobsleigh and luge track. Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Still part of Yugoslavia at the time, the city of Sarajevo hosted the Winter Olympics in 1984. Afterward, though, the venues were left largely untouched, including the bobsled track. Actually, the track was used as an artillery stronghold during the Bosnian War in the 90s. Now, the track sits covered in graffiti and weeds. The strange Sutyagan House in Arkhangelsk, Russia. The Sutyagan House was a wooden house in Arkhangelsk, Russia. The 13-story, 144-foot tall, 44 meters, residence of the local entrepreneur Nikolai Petrovich Sutyagan was reported to be the world's, or at least Russia's, tallest wooden house. Constructed by Mr. Sutyagan and his family over 15 years starting in 1992, without formal plans or a building permit, the structure deteriorated while Mr. Sutyagan spent a number of years in prison for racketeering. In 2008, it was condemned by the city as a fire hazard, and the courts ordered it to be fully demolished by February 1, 2009. On December 26, 2008, the tower was pulled down, and the remainder was dismantled manually over the course of the next several months. The remaining four-story structure burned to the ground on May 6, 2012. 4. Corbeffi Hotel, Corbeffi, France. In 2012, Corbeffi in central France made news when the entire village was successfully auctioned off for €520,000, around $663,000 at the time, to a Korean-American photographer. The village, which included around 21 buildings and the ruins of a 13th-century castle, has been a ghost town since villagers began moving out in the 1970s, according to The Guardian. In the 1990s there was an attempt to turn Corbeffi into a hotel and restaurant complex, but the plan was eventually abandoned in 2008, and since then the village has been left to nature and, according to Le Figaro, abandoned to thieves and squatters. The mysterious North Brother Island, New York. Between the 1880s and the 1930s, North Brother Island was the site of Riverside Hospital, where those suffering from infectious disease were treated in isolation. After World War II, it served as a housing community for returning veterans and their families. In the 1950s and early 1960s, it became a juvenile drug treatment center.